Joining me now to discuss that commitment, the future of the war in Ukraine, is Latvia's Foreign Minister, Baiba Braže. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
First, I wonder, you've been observing the President Trump's changes of approach to Ukraine. Most recently, he says U.S. Weapon shipments will continue to Ukraine going forward, particularly air defenses. Do you see that as a lasting change from the U.S. President?
I think what President Trump said, that he will push for peace, and he tried, and we supported him. The whole world was in favor of really hard push, both on Russia and, you know, getting President Putin himself to sign up for genuine peace efforts. And what we also saw in parallel is that there is not a single indicator that Russia wants peace, that all the power structures within Russia are aligned towards war. Whether that's military or political or economy or private sector or media, it's all about pro-war. It was visible that President Putin was just not serious. So obviously that's a pity. That's a pity. So we agree that there should be still continued push on Russia to make sure that its war-fighting capacity is weakened. So the bill and the sanctions that President Trump is talking about, and that Senators Graham and Blumenthal have put forward in their bill, is fully supported from our side. In the same time, of course, we also need the effort of ensuring Ukraine's self-defense. Ukraine is defending herself against an external aggression. Russia is violating any laws of behavior between states. It's just unbelievable what is happening. So self-defense, we are on the safe side. We are covered by international law, by the UN Charter, because the right to self-defense is guaranteed there. So for Latvia, that is crucially important. But also, in the same time, we have to make ourselves stronger, because obviously the production, the defense industry, but also the capabilities to having those air defenses, layered air defenses produced, to have the ammunition, to have the long-range precision strikes, the various capabilities that we need, from drones to strategic capabilities, that all costs money.
The conventional wisdom has been for some time, and this is in U.S. intelligence assessments as well, that Vladimir Putin still believes he's winning this war, and therefore sees, not only does he have no desire for peace in their view, but he doesn't see a need to negotiate. Is that still his view? Is that your best assessment of his view?
Yeah, I think it's his mistaken view currently still, and all the indicators are that they are not winning the war. The 3-day war, the campaign, you know, that they thought would lead to taking Kiev, where they are. They have lost about 1.2 million people, killed or severely wounded. 140 million people. Country is not able to move more than a few kilometers ahead in Ukrainian territory. Ukrainians are becoming more and more inventive, you know, with the FPV drones, you know, that cost thousands each. They were able to take out the Russian strategic bombers. So Russia is not winning. Sanctions are working. There is a pressure. But we need more pressure to make sure that actually Russia is forced to the negotiations table, because that mistaken understanding that Russia is winning is still there. So President Trump is right. We are fully supportive in all the ways, both for keeping the possibility to negotiate, but also on imposing sanctions, applying Ukraine, but also pushing allies to the 5% of defense spending.
You were at the NATO summit, and there was a great deal of concern going into that summit, and it's been there for some time, going back to Trump's election, re-election, I should say, last November, that his commitment to Europe was unstable. Did you leave that summit believing that Trump truly sees the value of NATO today in a way that he's questioned in the past?
I think U.S. doesn't have more committed and closer allies than those in Europe. And that's been there since the First World War, Second World War, after the Second World War within the NATO. What it means is that we have our militaries working together, like hand in glove. We have interoperability of forces. We have political alignment. Our intel services are sharing both military, civilian intelligence information. There is no other organization that works like that. US has a leading role, but it's also getting back a lot from the allies.
Right.
It's not only about money. It's actually the knowledge, the experience, the capability, the way US forces exercise in Europe, the various sort of experiences, the top of the world capabilities that they get in Europe. That is something that is very valuable also for the US. So those relationships are built throughout many decades, and they're very valuable. So I think President Trump understands that. But of course, for the US, there has been irritation by all the administrations that not all European allies were ready to spend seriously on defense.
And do you believe that that commitment will be a serious one from European allies?
So what we agreed in the Hague Declaration in NATO summit was that we will spend 5% on defense. And it will involve at least 3.5% of GDP for hardcore defense capabilities, for NATO capability targets. But it also involves cyber defenses, it involves infrastructure, it involves all types of other expenses. For Latvia, we spent, by the end of this year, will be more than 4% already on core defense spending. And we are an external border country, so we defend both EU and NATO for others.
No question.
Just like the Finns, just like Estonians, Lithuanians, Poles, and others. So we are strengthening that border both in civilian terms, with technology, with our border guards, with everything that we have, but also in military terms, with obstacles, with Baltic defense lines. So the vested interests by all allies are there. So that's why we also ask for more EU funding, but also for NATO funding to make sure that everybody is there.
You were literally the front lines, the Baltic states in particular. Foreign Minister Braže, we do appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you so much.